Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I've seen that video where he's like, you gotta have soft hands
soft hands and to caress the ball,
grip the ball. He pauses for like a solid 3 seconds, and he's like, it's kind of gay, but
soundbite time. I'm gonna look that up.
It's amazing. Are we gonna start?
Hold on a second.
We're starting.
Hold on a second.
Let's start. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's start. I am recording, by the way, just so you know.
Well, it's soundbite time.
Oh, they're probably not going to be able to hear that very well.
It's not for the podcast.
But you got to use your hands.
Your caress.
Your hands are what makes it possible. Your shoulder pads are hard and stiff. Your hands are tender and they can move and
Caress the ball.
That's kind of gay.
That's
why would
that's
you
kinda
ever
gay.
say that?
on TV?
Why would you ever say that as an announcer?
That's hilarious, dude. That's one of the best announcer moments ever.
Yeah. I wonder if that guy still has his job.
I guarantee he doesn't. At least not in college football anymore.
If I were an announcer, like that would be my. If something exciting happens, like a big play, I'd be like, "Holy balls!"
I'd try to make things a little more interesting than your average guy. You know, like there's the guy with the feminine voice. There's Chris Collinsworth with his laughs going, "Ow! That might be the greatest catch I've ever seen."
Odell Beckham Jr. is one of the best receivers I've ever seen.
And Al Michaels goes, "And he will go all the way." That's my Al Michaels. It's pretty good, I think.
Great
Been working
voices
on it for a long time.
That's pretty solid. All right, shall we get into it?
I suppose we should. Okay.
I was like, I'm not going to have to edit this at all. And then start off like that. It's all good.
We're going to go through our week 2 picks. We got a betting approach going on, at least I do. So I guess we just hop right into them. Cardinals, Ravens. The Cardinals are at plus 540 and the Ravens are at minus 700. Wow. I have the Baltimore Ravens winning this one 38-21. My one winning factor is the Ravens defense putting pressure on Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray showed his ability to orchestrate sort of a comeback, even though it wasn't a comeback victory. I'm confident in the Ravens offense getting it done. So the winning factor is going to be whether that Ravens defense can keep Kyler Murray in check.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to take a $200 bet on the Ravens at minus 700. So we'll see where that gets us.
Yeah, I would absolutely bet large amounts of money on the Ravens in this game. Yeah, I mean, both teams are facing better defenses this week, but not by much. I don't know. I really don't know how much faith I have in this Ravens defense. That'll certainly be key, though, I think, to them winning this game, because I think the Ravens offense can just decimate the Cardinals defense.
I'm kind of sad that Kyler Murray doesn't get to see Earl Thomas twice a year, because that would be awesome. I think Earl Thomas is going to dominate the inexperience of Kyler Murray, almost single-handedly probably. No, not really. There's 11 guys on the field, but you know,
he looked like
there is a guy.
Vintage Earl Thomas against the Dolphins.
I love Earl Thomas. He's such a good guy, and he's such a great player. I'm excited for him.
But yeah,
against Kyler Murray.
The Cards are still without Patrick Peterson, so I mean that secondary is as leaky as they come, and I think Mark Andrews will play pretty well again. He reminds me of a slightly more athletic Jason Witten, and I think the Ravens have just one of the biggest offensive playbooks in football right now. They just have so many options, and I think I'd look for Lamar to switch it up this week and actually get a good amount of rushing attempts on the Cards D. And the same could be said for Kyler Murray. He'll put up a good fight, but yeah, this Ravens offense is just gonna dominate. I think again, I have the Ravens as well, 31-21.
Cool. Moving on to the Bills and Giants. The Bills are at minus 122. The Giants are at plus 106. I really 100% was about to take the Giants until I looked at their injury report, saw that their 2.5 first wide receivers are out. So is it Cody Latimer that's questionable?
Is he? I didn't look at the injury report since this morning. But if he is, that would be our all three receivers injured, our
Yeah.
top three.
And going against a Bills defense like that, the winning factor is going to be the Bills' coverage of Saquon Barkley, because Saquon Barkley, with those guys out, he's gonna get the lion's share. They're depleted at wide receiver, so yeah. Even though the Giants haven't really disappointed at their backup wide receiver position, losing your top three guys, four if you include Golden Tate, that just sucks.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very difficult thing to overcome. So
Yeah.
you're looking at Saquon Barkley a lot. That's very predictable on the Bills' part, or on the Giants' part. Bills will be able to pick that up easily, probably be able to neutralize him pretty well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if we have any chance in this game, it's going to be utilizing Saquon to his fullest. He's going to have like 20 rush attempts, I think, in this game at least. Hopefully they can find creative ways to get him involved in the passing game instead of just simply calling like screens and short routes and outs and stuff like that. But you can say that's the key for every Giants game this season. But, the Bills don't. They didn't have to worry about a tight end last week against the Jets. They will this week with Evan Ingram. Hopefully he can have another big game. That'll be pretty dependent on us winning. But man, I was looking at their depth chart again, and this Bills D is just disgusting. It's just disgusting. It's oozing with just nasty players.
By
and
disgusting, you mean awesome, right?
Yeah, it's a nasty defense. And even their young players have like tons of potential. Josh Allen will probably continue to take ill-advised chances and throws down the field. And against this, how do I put this? Secondary that has potential, he will succeed in probably at least one of those throws.
The Bills are at minus 122, so I'm going to put a $122 bet down to win an even 100 if the Bills win.
I have the Bills. I'm sorry, man. I just can't. I know it's at home. It's a home game for the Giants, but I have the Bills 21-14. If we're without we're going to be very one-dimensional if we're without our top three receivers in this game.
I have 16-10 for in the Bills' favor. Moving on to Cowboys-Redskins, another one of your division matches. The Cowboys are at minus 300 as road favorites. Redskins are at plus 250. I have the Dallas Cowboys winning that one 31-10. And the winning factor for that one is going to be the early on Cowboys defense, because the Redskins got off to a great jump against the Eagles.
Which was surprising.
It was surprising, and I think that the Cowboys won't be as surprised. So they need to hold the Redskins early to prevent them getting out in front.
Well, you can't count on Case Keenum to put up similar numbers.
You can't
like
count
he
on
did
him
last
being
week.
consistent. So that's a part of the reason why I have the score 31-10 and not higher than that. The Redskins are going to try their best to establish the run early with Darius Geis out, because they desperately need to establish the run with Adrian Peterson and Chris Thompson. But at some point, they're going to have to abandon that. And at that point, the Cowboys D can easily apply pressure to Case Keenum.
Yeah, I'm with you. We seem to be on the same wavelength for a lot of these games. I got the Cowboys 28-17. Zeke is probably going to get a ton of carries in this game.
Yeah,
and
run out the clock situation.
Yeah, and Kellen Moore is going to call all the right pass plays for Dak again. I think against another weak defense. The Redskins, there's no way they're going to be able to keep up with their offense, especially without Darius Geis. And Saquon, when he did get offensive attempts on the field, he gashed the Cowboys' run D. And the closest thing the Redskins have to a Saquon Barkley is 34-year-old Adrian Peterson. So
he's ageless to me. He's not looked super bad.
Love him, but only 17 points, I think, for the Redskins in this game.
I'm going to put down a $100 bet on the Cowboys. I don't have that much trust against them. Redskins are at home. They have a rookie wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, and they do look. It does look like the Redskins might have a wide receiver one in Washington, but I guess we'll see. I have confidence in the Cowboys winning, but I'm only going to put 100 down on that one.
Yeah, they're coming off huge momentum.
Yeah. Moving on to Colts-Titans. Jacoby Brissett's second game as the 2019 starter.
Yes.
Colts are at plus 164 on the road, and Titans are at minus 190. I have the Titans winning this one 28-17. The winning factor for me is going to be Derrick Henry. The Colts gave up 32 fantasy points to Austin Eckler in week 1. So I'm looking for a big contribution from Derrick Henry. He's lived up to my early expectations after the last 4-game stretch of 2018, and I see him continuing to do so. I see Derrick Henry putting up a lot of more fantasy points.
Yeah, if they're smart, the Titans will ride him again this week.
Yeah, Titans are minus 190. I'm putting down a 190 bet against to win an even 100 on that one as well.
Finally, we're on a different page. We're not on the same page. I got the Colts actually winning a razor close game, 21-20, and just like you, I have Marlon Mack being a key in this game.
Yeah.
He looked like a damn star last week, which nobody expected. He will face a better defense this week, that's for sure.
They need him to lean on.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely
like the centerpiece of their offense right now, while Jacoby Brissett adjusts to the main starting role.
And he looked. I mean, to his credit, he looked pretty good for his his first start of the season. Nobody thinks of Jacoby Brissett as an elite quarterback, but he was like 21 for 29, I think, with a couple touchdowns in that game, no picks. He limited mistakes, kind of like a game manager does. So, and that Colts O-line is just elite, simply. And I think that O-line and Marlon Mack will run over this Titans defense. And I also think the Colts D has a lot of young talent, but their secondary is thin. Either way, there's no way the Titans are putting up more than 30 points again. And the key for me, another key for me is I would bet my entire life savings and future life savings for my entire life that Adam Vinatieri does not miss 3 kicks again this week. If he gets any kicking attempts, he will make them this week. He's better than that, and he's always been better than that.
Yeah, kickers always have longer careers, and there's a reason why. It's because the leg does not age as much as the rest of the entire body. Moving on to the Jaguars-Texans. Jaguars are at plus 320 on the road. Texans are at minus 390, which is a reasonable price to me.
Especially considering that the Jaguars are going to start Gardner Minshew.
I don't think he's that bad, but I have the Houston Texans winning that one 31-17. My winning factor is going to be DeAndre Hopkins versus Jalen Ramsey matchup. Those are two high-tier guys battling to get open in a very short amount of time because Deshaun Watson's going to need to get rid of the ball fast. They have a good pass rush. Jalen Ramsey got smoked by Sammy Watkins a couple of times in week 1.
But historically, DeAndre Hopkins has not done very well against Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, but another thing to factor in is the fact that AJ Boye is out, and Will Fuller and Kenny Stills are great backup options.
Yes.
So if you're not looking at the DeAndre Hopkins Jalen Ramsey matchup, you're looking on the other side of the field or in the slot.
And I think their slot receiver Kiki Cutie is back for this game.
I need to check.
I'm not sure if he is, but yeah, I think he's questionable.
They're facing third stringers and beyond with AJ Boye out, so
yeah,
those are good fantasy plays in DFS to me.
And that's the one big knock against the Jaguars this year, is that their defense is really good, but razor thin with their depth. Like behind their starters, they have nothing.
Yep. I'm gonna take a $200 bet on the Texans. Gardner Minshew, I do like him. I do have faith in him with Nick Foles gone because what you have to.
Bro, he's like a 67 overall in Madden.
Who cares, dude? He looks like a veteran. Like he's got so much hair on his arms, he looks like a 35-year-old.
I mean, that was against the Chiefs.
He's got that mustache,
D, though.
dude. He's got an uncle mustache. My uncle's like 40-something years old, and he has that same mustache.
I think if your name is Gardner, you have to have a mustache. I think that's how that works.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned the score 31-17. Did you already mention your pick?
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans. Pretty similar score, 27-17. I would put the Texans up by more, but again, if Jalen Ramsey is going to play, he's going to do a good job against whoever he's matched up. I think he doesn't have consecutive games where he gives up 6 catches or more.
Chargers Lions. Chargers on the road are the favorites at -122. Lions at +106. I have the Chargers winning that one 40-28. A high scoring game.
Yep, same here. Chargers have the better QB, and
Yep.
it's going to change the tide
Yep.
for me.
My winning factor is actually going to be the run game, though, because Austin Eckler had a great first game in Melvin Gordon's absence, but I'm more looking closely at Justin Jackson's 9.7 yards per carry on 6 carries. So I'm hoping the Chargers will involve Jackson even more in this offense, with Eckler handling the passing downs.
Yeah, he looks real good for a 7th rounder.
And Justin Jackson, why not give him a shot at early down running downs, you know?
Gordon's definitely not coming back anytime soon.
No. They still have a few ways to attack the Lions, and if they utilize these targets where they need to, this is going to be smooth sailing for the Chargers. For the third time, the Chargers are at -122. I'm going to put down a 122 bet to win an even $100 again.
What were the odds for the Chargers? They're favorites?
Yeah, Chargers were -122. Lions were +106.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they also have the better pass rush with Bosa and Ingram, right?
Yeah,
who both had sacks.
That's a great price. I should bet more, and I don't know why I'm not, but yeah, I'm going to stick with 122.
Yeah, I mean, Eckler and Jackson prove they can play when Melvin Gordon isn't starting in front of them.
Yeah.
And I really don't love this Lions defense outside of Trey Flowers and Darius Slay. They lack, they just lack stars on their defense. And I also don't think that, again, my score is 24-20. That's my prediction, Chargers. I don't think Kerryon Johnson will have a bad game again. I think he'll have a much better game. He averaged 3.2 yards per carry in week 1, which is not good. I don't think that happens again. He's too talented.
Yeah.
And another key is that the Lions were just god-awful, just terrible on 3rd down last week against a really weak Cardinals defense, which is really alarming. And, again, the Chargers defense isn't leaps and bounds. It's not elite. It's not that better than the Cardinals, but it's certainly better. You got Bosa, Ingram. They got solid run stoppers. Going with the Chargers here.
The Chargers did give up a big game to Marlon Mack.
Yeah, that's true, but I just don't. I think the Chargers offense is just going to outgun them.
Agreed. Vikings Packers. Packers are home favorites at -150. Vikings at +130. I'm going to take the underdog Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to set that score at 24-20, and the winning factor is going to be Kirk Cousins. And basing a good amount of my selections on last week's performance is not sound practice, but for this particular instance, I'm going to compare Kirk Cousins' Vikings to the Packers' Week 1 opponent, Trubisky's Bears. I see a downgrade on defense, but a big upgrade on offense with more targets for Cousins, a more established backfield. Vikings defense should be able to do their job and hold the Packers to less than 20 points. So Kirk Cousins needs to step up to the plate here, and I think they will.
Yep, I'm with you there. I got the Vikes winning 28-21. Even though the Packers D looks like a completely improved and different unit this year, they're playing so much better coverage and getting really creative pressure from all sorts of areas on the field, especially in Week 1. But I'll tell you what, man, the Bears did not have Dalvin Cook. And
Right.
I think he will be another key, but I do agree with you. I think this game will be very dependent on how Kirk Cousins plays, because he's certainly an upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. He's not going to make those same rookie mistakes, I don't think. Even if he can just game manage, I think the Vikes can pull this off. And I got the Vikings 28-21.
I'm throwing down a $100 bet on that one, on the underdogs.
I'd take it.
Patriots, Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one. That's a plus 1,200.
Dude, no way,
money
same.
line. That's a plus 1,200.
Wait,
money
you're not
line
joking?
At home. I'm not joking.
You're not joking.
I'm not kidding. But this is purely for the bet price, purely from a betting standpoint.
Okay.
The Patriots have an unwagerable minus 2,200 money line. There's no point in wagering any amount of it,
Right,
because you're not going
right.
to win anything back. And there's a slight edge that Miami somehow has that's kept them 5-1 against the Patriots in the past 6 years.
I mean, they have a good history over them.
I'm only going to bet $20 on that one because it's a gigantic risk, and I don't mind losing $20 on this one. And
Well,
if
I'm going to bet $21,000 on the Dolphins.
if I do win, I'm going to win big. But yeah, I'll bet on the Miami Dolphins for this one, just for a betting standpoint. I think that the Patriots are going to win, and I'm playing Sony Michel in my fantasy leagues.
Yeah, same.
Because it's gonna be another run down the clock situation.
Damn bloodbath.
Belichick's
dead
not
Dolphins everywhere.
Belichick's not going to be a dick and just run up the score, so he's just going to run the clock out with Sony Michel.
He might. I mean, that's what John Harbaugh did, and he was pretty proud of that. Well, if you have the Dolphins winning, what's your score prediction if you have one for that?
Man, I wrote down 28-27. I mean,
dude, there's absolutely okay. I'll tell you what, man. If that ends up being the case, I will immediately fly back from Vermont and pay you for taking that bet and that score.
I'm not supposed to do actual bets because I work in the sports wagering industry, and it would get me fired if I made actual wagers. So I'm just betting with theoretical money, but I'll take that under the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got the Pats winning hard 30-10. I would put them up by more, like maybe even closer to a 50 burger. But again, I think the Pats are going to run it a whole bunch against this defense.
Belichick's a no-nonsense sort of guy. He's just going to run it out.
Yeah. And I think Fitzpatrick is still starting for the Dolphins. I feel like the Fitz magic is gone, especially after last week. It's just it. Yeah.
Or he could throw for 500 yards.
I mean, dude, even if he does, honestly, like, I can see him throwing for 500 yards and like 4 interceptions still, and like only scoring like 17 points in a loss.
Moving on to 49ers Bengals, there was no need to talk about the Patriots Dolphins that long because we all know what's going to happen. But this is a close game in terms of odds. 49ers are at minus 102. They're the favorites on the road. They're the underdog on the road. Bengals are at minus 112. I have the 49ers winning this one 21-17, with the winning factor being the 49ers secondary. I am planning on the secondary holding John Ross to a non-factor role in this game. His speed burned the well below average Seahawks secondary, but I don't see that happening against
So you do admit it is well below average. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That it was not a good performance by our secondary, but
so you're saying the Seahawks are garbage trash? Is what you're saying.
I'll let you think that. Joe Mixon is also nursing an ankle injury, which lowers the ceiling for me even if he's active for the game.
Yeah.
And the 49ers pass rush might be able to put just as much pressure on Andy Dalton as the Seahawks did. So I have the San Francisco 49ers squeaking that one in 21-17, putting $50 down on that one.
Ooh, so close to my score. I got the Niners 20-14.
Yep.
And I got complimenting keys for this one. I got Andy Dalton being a key and the Niners secondary being a key, both for the 49ers. I don't think Andy Dalton's going to play as well as he did last week. There's no way. And yeah, the Niners D looks to be playing with a whole new confidence. They got 4 turnovers last week. And this is against a Bengals offense that sucks balls at ball security. So you got that going for you. And then on paper, Nick Bosa and Dee Ford are going to have a field day, dude. They're just going to they're going to tear it up. And I think Jimmy G will shake off that rust against a very vulnerable to the big play Bengals secondary.
Yeah, week 2 is when you got to start shaking off the rust and calming down.
Especially as a quarterback.
Win. Yeah.
And the same can be said about Trubisky as well for the Bears. But again, in this game, you could argue all these same points for the Bengals too, like as far as like a weak secondary goes. And but I could honestly see this game going either way, but I think ultimately I don't think Andy Dalton plays very well. And I'm just going to go with the Niners and their coaching staff, and Kyle Shanahan gives me more confidence than a rookie head coach. I think they'll ultimately outperform Cincinnati.
For sure. Seahawks Steelers. The Seahawks are big underdogs in this one. They're at plus 168.
Are they really? Wow.
Yeah, Steelers are at minus 196. Wow. I'm going to take the underdog bet on this one.
Yeah,
that's going to be a lot closer than what that money line indicates. And I have the winning factor being the Seahawks offensive play calling. I'm confident in the Seahawks defense being able to keep away the Steelers' primary weapons in Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner. We have a good front seven. And Shaq Griffin is a very good corner. He's very good, and he should be able to lock down their number one receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster. Not a whole lot of depth behind him. You got Dante Moncrief,
Right.
who dropped a few passes last week. What was it? He was 3 for 10. Yeah.
He had 3 catches for 7 yards.
Yeah, and 10 targets. And then you got James Washington. So I think that they hold those guys in check. And even if they have trouble, the Seahawks would win a shootout using Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf if the offensive play calling on the Seahawks is built to do that. Chris Carson is a great tool to use to establish the run. And if we have to abandon the run, then we have ways to defeat the Steelers. DK Metcalf's great. Tyler Lockett's great.
I would totally take that bet for the Seahawks, even though I don't think they're going to win. I have the Steelers 24-20. I think this is going to be a bounce back game for me, 100% for the entire Steelers team. They're going to be fired up, and after being embarrassed in Week 1 by the Patriots, which they just get every year, their front seven is going to be fired up, and they have the potential athleticism and strength at both linebacker and D-line to at least stifle the Seahawks running game a bit, I think. And I wouldn't start James Conner this week against the Seahawks
the
in fantasy.
Steelers do have a great offensive line.
They do, but I don't know, man. There's something about the Seahawks run defense that they have Bobby Wagner, who can just single-handedly improves your run defense by miles.
Yeah. The Seahawks at plus 168 is too sweet of a bet.
Yeah,
to
seriously.
Pass up on me. For me, I'm gonna slap $100 down on that one.
I'd take more, honestly. But I think Big Ben has a huge opportunity here for a bounce back game against an inexperienced and fully outmatched secondary. I think Big Ben plays 100% better than he did last week. So yep, I got the Steelers 24-20.
Chiefs Raiders. Chiefs are at minus 290 on the road. Raiders plus 245. Easy choice for me. I'm gonna say Kansas City 38-24. Winning factor is going to be how bad the Raiders pass attack is.
We actually have the same score differential in our predictions.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
The Raiders are going to be forced to abandon the run early, which will neutralize their biggest offensive threat in Josh Jacobs, who had 23 touches last week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the Raiders pass game simply does not compare to the Chiefs, so it's an easy one for me. Yeah, I'm removing Josh Jacobs from my fantasy selections because they're only going to be able to use him for a quarter. They're not going to be able to use him that much. They need to abandon the run quick to keep up with the Chiefs.
That's a good point, but I could also see him catching 6, 7, or 8 passes. But yeah, that is a really good point. I have the Chiefs 35-21, and this is weird for me because the Raiders do seem to be playing differently. John Gruden, they just have a newfound swag, and maybe it's because this is their last year in Oakland. But I wanted to put the score a bit closer and have the Raiders score a bit more, but I just don't. There's not going to be enough time because the Chiefs will just score and score and score, and they're not going to be able to get the possessions that they need to score more than 21 points.
The Raiders are also taking a huge hit on the secondary with Jonathan Abram going to
That's
IR.
right. Yeah, he's on IR. Yeah. Which is, I don't know who they're going to play at safety now, because I know their slot corner, what's his name? Oh my gosh, they signed him from the Rams. LaMarcus Joyner. He played safety for a while, and he's a good safety. They might move him up there. I don't know.
I think they are.
That would make the most sense. But then again, that leaves them thin at corner. So
Chiefs are at minus 290. I'm going to place a $290 bet on that to win an even $100 once more. Very predictable. Moving on to Bears-Broncos. This is another pretty close game. Bears are road favorites at minus 136. Broncos at plus 118. I have the Broncos pulling away with this one, 21-19. The winning factor is going to be the Broncos' defensive line because Trubisky is still making rookie mistakes, and throwing together a good pass rush is a good way to get in his head, as well as preventing big run plays from the likes of David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen, because they were both non-factors in Week 1.
Yeah, even though Tariq Cohen caught 10 passes, they were not situationally. They meant almost nothing.
Yeah, we'll see how much they change up the play calling, because that could make a big difference too. Because Trubisky had like 43 pass attempts, which
Yeah.
is too much.
Well, you have
too
Vic
many.
Fangio, the head coach now of the Broncos, who was the defensive coordinator for that Bears defense.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be an interesting game to watch. It's going to be a homecoming for him going against his former team. That's actually why I have the Bears winning a razor close game, 21-20. I think.
Oh man, we were 1 point away.
Yeah, yeah, isn't that crazy? I think the Bears just have a leg up on the Broncos, just in the play calling on both sides of the ball because of Vic Fangio. I think he'll be able to outsmart Matt Nagy. I'm a big believer in Vic Fangio.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't think that Mitchell Trubisky plays as bad as he did in week 1. I think that Von Miller and Bradley Chubb will not go sackless again in this game. However, I think the play calling will indefinitely be smarter in this game, and they will run and they will mix it up, and they'll probably be a lot more balanced of an offense in this game.
I'm throwing down $75 on the Broncos. I don't have complete faith in them, but
I also really don't believe in Joe Flacco against the Bears defense. That is one bet that I will not take.
Moving on to Saints-Rams. I have the New Orleans Saints taking this one in a 60-plus point shootout. My score prediction is 44-31, and I'm going to place a $150 bet on the Saints, who are underdogs. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that the Rams are favorites. One, there's like no home field advantage in LA because it's like 50% Rams and 50% whatever team they're playing.
Yeah.
You go to a Rams-Seahawks game in LA, and there's going to be half Seahawks jerseys there. The winning factor is going to be the passing game for both teams.
Yeah. I could see this easily being an overtime game. Another one for the Saints.
You got two great passing offenses and two crappy passing defenses. So and Drew Brees has been there many times before, including last Monday, and he has better weapons to put this one away with. He's got you got the Holy Trinity. You got Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas. And I'm going to actually throw down an additional $250 bet on the game covering the over 58.5 point mark. This is definitely going to be a high scoring game for sure.
Absolutely. And as you say, my score was actually a little bit too low of a prediction. So I bumped that bad boy up there and I got the Saints 37-31.
Actually, let me change that over one to $500. I'm very confident that this is going to be a super high scoring game.
Yeah, and I think that I don't know. I believe in Drew Brees more. Just when in doubt, when you got two really equal teams, in a sense, like two really good teams, pretty safe bet to take the better quarterback.
Yeah. Eagles-Falcons, Sunday Night Football. Our first Sunday Night Football game, I believe, of the year. Is it? Or was there a Sunday Night Football game last week?
You mean Monday night?
Sunday night. Falcons, Eagles are Sunday night. Cleveland Browns and Jets are Monday night.
I think so.
This might be the first Sunday Night Football game. Anyways, I have the Eagles. The Eagles are at minus 128. Falcons at plus 112. I'm taking the road favorite Eagles at plus 128 to win an even $100 again, with my winning factor being Carson Wentz. I will chalk the first half of week 1 as a completely unprepared secondary facing a pass-heavy offense that they probably did not anticipate. They held the rushing game to 28 yards, so I'm sure that they have a plan for the Falcons' passing attack. Carson Wentz rallied his offense to score 25 points in the second half, and they balanced the offense beautifully. They had carries to a lot of running backs for a lot of yards. They had a bad first half in terms of scoring in week 1, but he recovered, and I think that recovery will carry on into week 2. I did not write a score prediction down for this one. This was a tough one. Yeah,
I went back and forth on this one too, but ultimately I got the Eagles winning 24-21 in a close game. And one note that I thought of while I was doing some research on this game is that I would sit Devonta Freeman, even though I know a lot of people want to start him in fantasy for a bounce back game against a potentially underachieving Eagles defense. But like you said, they killed the run last week, and I just don't see this Eagles defense being as bad as they were last week. I mean, if you just Their D line is just so stacked, and just they're at every position, especially on their D line, they go like 3 deep. It's crazy. Like their backups are starters on other teams, and people have said that before, but I'm gonna say it again because it's scary. But yeah, I think ultimately, and also that Falcons O-line, man, their first round pick, I think Chris Lindstrom at guard is out in this game again. They got to shuffle that O-line up again. Does not give me confidence for the Falcons in this game.
To wrap things up for week 2, we got the Browns and Jets Monday Night Football. The Browns are road favorites at -270. Jets are at +230. And I have the Cleveland Browns taking this one 26-20. And my winning factor is Baker Mayfield. He threw 3 fourth-quarter interceptions last week, and he knows that he needs to settle down. He knows that if he doesn't make those interceptions, that they have a chance. They have a much better shot at winning that game. He has the tools. He needs to use them. So I don't see Baker Mayfield having another unsuccessful week. It's possible that their offense stalls, but I think that Baker Mayfield knows not to make those stupid throws anymore.
Yeah, hopefully. But I mean, he does have that Brett Favre gene in him.
Yeah.
That he will just he'll make those throws, and I think he'll be more successful against the Jets defense. This is a Jets team that's going to miss Sam Darnold. I don't have them scoring as many points in this game with him out.
Yes.
With Mono playing spin the bottle too much apparently.
Kissing in the locker room.
Yeah, I don't think they score more than 10 points. I'm going with the Browns 20-10. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is. Is it Josh McCown?
The Jets is
Did they call up Josh McCown from his
No, that was the Eagles. It's Trevor Siemian.
Ooh. He's not terrible, but yeah, again,
He's a failed Broncos QB.
Yeah.
The Broncos give their QBs terrible shots at it, so we'll see.
He's a capable backup, but the Browns defense still has a lot of potential, especially against a backup quarterback. Hopefully they play better because they can. Hopefully they start putting in effort on tackles and coverages, especially along that D-line. I this was a pretty easy one for me. I just can't see the Jets winning this game. And if the Jets do win this game, I think that Freddie Kitchens will immediately be on the hot seat if he's not already, just from the Week 1 performance. That'll
Which
be
stinks, the end of last season and the off-season acquisitions.
It's a bummer, and he seems like a great guy.
Candidate for like Coach of the Year during the offseason.
Right. But I think if the Jets beat them in this game, I don't think the Browns season will be able to recover after what would be 2 embarrassing losses. I think this game will be very telling for how the rest of the Browns season will go. And we'll see. We'll see. I have confidence in them, though. I think they'll go at least 9-7 this year. But look for another just down year in Cleveland if the Browns lose this game.
Yeah. Putting $100 down on the Browns, and I think that's going to wrap it up for our Week 1 picks. We'll see how we did at the end of the week. We'll see tomorrow on most of them. Last week I actually lost money because I bet on too many favorites. So
even though you went 11-5 in your picks.
I went 11-5, but I still lost because I bet on so many dang favorites.
Theoretically, of course.
Right. I theoretically lost theoretical money. I lost $75 because I bet on all the favorites. So I'm sort of switching around the bets, betting on a few underdogs, betting $200 on some games, $150 on other games.
That's why you got to mix it up. That's good advice.
Yep. Mix it up. From the betting expert that lost $75 in the first week of the season. But that's gonna wrap it up for this one.
Sounds good. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully I don't go 9-7 again.
Yep.